Hi, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the next edition of Michigan Mortgage Cast. Today, we're going to talk about something really important in the entire real estate and mortgage process, buying process, and that's appraisals. You know, we've talked about the markets, we've talked about economics, we've talked about all these different things that go into the market itself, but this is on the actual transaction piece, and appraisals are such an important part of that. So with me today to talk about that is Giles Hoficer. He is the president of Synergy Appraisal Company. Welcome, Giles.
Thank you, Larry. Glad to be here.
And of course, everybody knows Dave Ross, Vice President of Sales for John Adams Mortgage. Dave, welcome again.
Good morning.
Good morning. So guys, you know, I wanted to open it up with just the current market and turn times, and Giles, we'll start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the last part of 2020, what you guys expect for 2021, and what's going on just with current market and turn times?
In regarding to turn times, I'd say if we talked about 2020, it's been a pretty intense year. I pulled some numbers of what we were doing in 2019 versus 2020 at this time. In 2019, we were handling like 15% of our volume was refinances and 85% was purchases. And throughout 2020, we've been about 50-50. So 50% of our transactions have been refis, 50% have been purchases. And just in total volume in Southeast Michigan, we've been up 45%. So that volume has really put a lot of pressure on our turn times. As far as turning the appraisal around, our goal is to do a 7-day turn time as far as 7 business days or 10 calendar days. And we've done in Southeast Michigan, because it's kind of, an urban area, we have a lot of appraisers. We've been able to maintain that even through 2020. There's been a lot of pressure to do that. On rural markets, turn times have expanded a lot. Most appraisers, kind of give you some more numbers, most appraisers handle, in a normal market, probably 30 to 40 appraisals a month. Throughout 2020, they've been handling 50 to 60 appraisals a month. So they've almost doubled their volume, but we haven't really added any appraisers to the market, which is really constrained on, put a lot of pressure on those turn times to maintain that. And unfortunately, what we've been seeing over the last few months is a lot more. We've had appraisers that have got a bad diagnosis that they had COVID, and that puts them out of business for 2 weeks at a minimum if their symptoms are mild. But the 2 weeks, if an appraiser has 20, 30 orders in their pipeline, all those have to be shuffled to somebody else. So we're maintaining that 7 to 10 days, but because of those unknowns, and it seems like it's becoming more common over the last month, it's putting more pressure on those turn times. So I would say there's a lot of unknowns, right? It's kind of unpredictable. So be prepared for that. And I would say to everybody out there, realtors, lenders, you guys, everyone's been very understanding, and everyone's really come together to support the appraisers, knowing that they're going out into home, 3 to 6 homes a day. So.
And what's critical for that? Thanks, Giles. What's critical for people on the lending side, as we do for sure, is you have your multiple, whether you're in appraisal management, have an appraisal management setup, or individual appraisers. It's good to work with companies that have multiple options, as we do, to help spread that out, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, it really harms the consumer in the end, which is something that we don't want to do. We want to help the consumer and our realtors and everything. So working with multiple appraisal management companies is critical for your realtors to work with lenders like that, as we do on our end. So Dave, over to you. when there's potential turn time issues on the appraisal, and the appraisal happens at the very beginning of the process, and you want to get it started off on the right foot. What can realtors and loan officers do to help shave a day or two? Because shaving a day or two is critical in the whole process. So what could be done on that end?
Yeah, and for purchases, it starts with the realtor. If we can get the fully executed purchase agreement and all addendums as soon as possible, then we can order the appraisal. And most mortgage companies are like us. We are ordering it right when we get that and we get the green light to go ahead. We're ordering that appraisal. Addendums are really important. If you have them up front, please provide them. We do understand the course of a negotiation that continues even after the purchase agreement. An addendum could, there could be a trailing addendum. We need that. Contact your loan officer on the transaction, provide the addendum. We have a responsibility to forward that to the appraiser. So even if the report, the appraisal report's done or in process, we are obligated to give that addendum, and it could influence the report, and the appraiser needs to recognize whether the addendum changes the report or not. So that is the number one delay that we see, are missing disclosures that accompany the addenda or the purchase agreement or addendum. So please provide that in its entirety in a legible format, and that really helps everyone out. The second thing is contact information. Make sure that you're providing to the loan officer good contact information. We're relaying that. We're the middleman. We are relaying that to the appraisal company, and the appraisal company is trying to schedule that appraisal as soon as possible. Any additional notes are useful. It all comes down to communication. Good, fast communication will get a more accurate and fast, complete report back to us.
And the nice thing from our end, speaking about John Adams, we're fully integrated with our AMCs through our loan officer software that we use. So it's the orders happen fast once all that communication and documentation is given to us.